I gave you a rundown of the program for tonight. I said it's going to be a loaded program. I'm going to talk to you about my book project. I'll give you an update about Nashirga's trial. I'll also give you an update about happenings in BAWKU. We'll talk about Abdul Aziz's arrest by the police and disappearance. We'll talk about the shootings of the 4 women by the Kusasis, and then we'll end up the program by talking about SAMPA, the chieftaincy dispute in SAMPA. Now, so what I started by saying is that a lot of authors have written about BAWKU. First with Syme. Syme wrote about the Kusasis and then BAWKU in 1932. You also have this book titled An Ethnographic Study. In this book, the author also said something about BAWKU. Of course, the Mamprusis also wrote a book titled The History of BAWKU and the Senseless Conflict, if my memory sets me right. But the Mamprusis book is unpublished, so it is still a manuscript. The Kusasis also wrote their book. And my point is that when you look at the Mamprusis book, you will say it's pro-Mamprusis. Even though the Mamprusis may also tell that, yeah, but we still have facts about the Kusasis. The Kusasis book, you say, is pro-Kusasis. But the Kusasis also tell that we have facts about Mamprusis. The Mamprusis can debate the facts here. The Kusasis can debate the facts in the Mamprusis book. The other scholarly books written about BAWKU, many others and articles, you will realize that they do what is called cherry picking of what information to put in their narrative. Syme honestly admitted in his book that it is full of inaccuracies, right? So I have taken time to understand all this and then to say that we need a book, the people of BAWKU, a book that is not about Mamprusi, a book that is not about Kusasis, but a book that is about the conflict, right? And my book, as I said, hopefully it will be ready by the end of this year, and maybe I'll make it available, or I may decide to wait and make it available next year when the BAWKU conflict will be 70 years. I'm saying that the work is 70% done. The other 30% is left for me to give it out to 1 or 2 other people to also go through it, give their input. It has already gone through professional editing and all that. So before the manuscript leaves my hand to the next person, that person will not have to worry about grammar and all those kind of things. Now, let me give you a rundown of the book. So the book is a documentary socio-legal history. Documentary socio-legal history, tracing how historical claims to authority, chieftaincy authority evolved in BAWKU into one of Ghana's most enduring traditional political conflict, right? And the book draws on original records, petitions, committee reports, PNDC Law 75, Supreme Court ruling, all that. You see it in that book. And the book reveals how the past continues to shape legitimacy, governance, and the continuation for search for peace in BAWKU. It is a historical and legal study. This one, for example, is an ethnographic study. Mine is a historical and legal study of the BAWKU chieftaincy dispute using original records to explain how colonial policy, traditional authority, and later state decision, government decision shaped the conflict. The book is going to be, there will be an element of accountability in the sense that, as I indicated, other works on BAWKU have cherry-picked their archives. This particular book that you'll be getting by the end of this year or early next year will provide a holistic evidence-based analysis. Holistic evidence-based analysis supported by archival records, so that the reader can see a whole picture of the dispute. A lot of information that people don't know, you get it in the book. So that is the accountability aspect of the book. Then there is the correction aspect of the book. The book is a critical re-evaluation of the BAWKU dispute, moving past the fragmented scholarly narrative, as I indicated earlier on, to offer an in-depth study and reconcile colonial records and post-independence legal and mediation outcomes. In that book, we will talk about the Asante-Hene mediation. You will get a lot from that book, my dear brothers and sisters. Last but not the least, there is what I term as transparency element. Because as I said, I want this book to be the mother of all books written about the BAWKU conflict, right? It is a Mamprussi who wrote it, but trust me, any person who takes the book to read, you'll be surprised that a Mamprussi will present the issues the way he or she presented the issues. There's no any ethnic bias, nothing, no any interest in it at all. What is the transparency issue? The transparency aspect here is that, as I said, it is a primary source history, So for example, we've been talking about the Opoku Faris Committee report. How many people are aware of the report? Who has done an in-depth analysis of the report? Trust me, you can only get that from the book that will be coming soon. Let me give you a gist of what you will see in the book. Then we'll close this particular episode. All right, so when the book finally comes out and you take it, this is what you will see first before you go to the page title. Now, let me just read to you what I wrote here and pay attention to it, my dear brothers and sisters. It says, we must preserve the truth about BAWKU for posterity. Preserving that truth is not merely a matter of recording events. It requires a careful separation of history, memory, law, and narrative so that future generations inherit clarity rather than confusion. We should not allow historical dispute, grievances, or rival claims to become permanently fixed in our thinking or identity, such that they define present and future relations. If history is to serve as a tool for understanding rather than division, it must be approached with both honesty and proportion. If law is to be used as the defined framework in the BAWKU chieftaincy dispute, it must be understood that history alone is not law. Recognition does not itself establish legitimacy. Statute does not automatically displace custom, and status quo ante does not necessarily constitute accrued rights. In chieftaincy, accrued rights do not mean ownership of office, perpetual recognition, or hereditary certainty, but only such rights as law and custom validly vest. The question that arises, therefore, is whether the enforcement of status quo ante is a path to stability or a barrier to peace. Where it reflects recognized lawful order, it may prevent fragmentation, but where that order is contested or perceived as unjust, rigid enforcement may deepen conflict. In such a reality, compromise is not surrender. It is often the condition for peaceful coexistence. My dear brothers and sisters. So that is just a teaser. And this teaser gives you an idea of what to expect in the book. It is a reflection on history, law, and coexistence in BAWKU, my dear brothers and sisters. So let's move to the next on the lineup. The next on the lineup is the trial of Nashirga. We all know that Nashirga was abducted by the government and taken to Accra based on the recommendation of the Asantehene mediation report, mediation in court. Nashirga is currently standing trial. He was granted bail in the last two court hearings. But strategically, the government, and I'm going to say the NDC government, through the court system, gave Nashirga a very stringent bail condition, right? That Nashirga should be reporting to the police every week. They did so because they don't want Nashirga to be able to leave Accra. So that limits, even though he is granted bail, but it limits his movement. Nashirga is expected to appear before court at the end of this month, exactly on 30th May. And we are hoping that the case will proceed from there. We are also hoping that there will be new development as to how, I can't tell, but let's pray and hope that everything will go on well. Let's be patient. Let's continue to give Nashirga our unconditional support. He is our leader. He is our father. He is the son of the Nigeri, my dear brothers and sisters. So that is the update on that. On the 30th of May, our brothers and sisters in Accra and all those who can travel from Kumasi, Techima, even BAWKU to be part of the court process, please go and then give your solidarity, support to our father, our leader, our chief, my dear brothers and sisters. Now, so let's move next to what are the current happenings in BAWKU. Since the mediation, Asantehene mediation was concluded in December 2025, one would have thought that the Kusasis would stop their misbehavior. But the Kusasis said no, they will not stop. And the reason why they will not stop is that they want until the Mamprosis raise up their hands to say that, okay, you know what? Kusasis, BAWKU is your land. and chieftaincy is yours forever. Until that is done, the Kusasis will never stop harassing people on road, shooting and killing innocent people on road, shooting and disturbing the peace in the BAWKU traditional area every day. They have vowed to do that. Ghanaians don't understand the Kusasis. We know them. The Kusasis, you give them an inch, they want to move a step. You give them a step, they want to run, right? That is their attitude. Now, the unfortunate aspect is also the attitude of the government. From my investigation, the people of BAWKU Township, because of the banditry, the Kusasis, that warrants escort for the safety of passengers and protection of course, lives and property on those applying the road. There's still the need for escort. Now, the Kusasis and the government and the security agencies have all come together, and I will say including Asante Hene, they've all come together to devise a strategy to try to put more pain, more burden on the Mamprosis, just to get the Mamprosis to say that, okay, BAWKU is for Kusasis. Why am I saying so? Can you believe that escort is only provided or being provided once a week, maximally twice a week, since the end of the mediation? Since Otumfuo handed over the chieftaincy to the Kusas and said, okay, take it, you are the chiefs. I have ensconced you as the chiefs of BAWKU. Since then, the Kusasis continue to harass people. And the government is sitting idle watching. The security agencies are doing as if they are not capable. Now, this is even how serious it is. Now, the commanding officer within the BAWKU zone does not have absolute control of when escort should be done. The commander responsible for the Upper East region also does not have that control. From my information, I am told that before any escort will be granted, whether once a week or twice a week, in other words, before any vehicle will move from BAWKU to Bolga or from Bolga to BAWKU, approval has to come from the Northern Command in Tamale. Can you just imagine that? What is the government seeking to achieve? What are the security agencies seeking to achieve? All of them are siding with the Kusasis to make things difficult for the Mamprusis, the Houses, the Moshis, the Bises, the Fulanis, the Dagombes, the Farfares, all the ethnic groups who are very privileged to be in BAWKU proper. The idea is that let's frustrate them, let's make life unbearable for them, let's just put them in hell. So that is the update on escort, and I think it is unacceptable. The government must be ashamed of itself on that. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama must sit up. If the president has any personal interest in the BAWKU chieftaincy conflict, he should respectfully let us understand what is going on. If not, it just doesn't make sense, and it's also unacceptable that escort provision has to be provided once a week. once every week. I mean, what is that? Just because you don't like the man process or what? All right, my dear brothers and sisters, let's put that aside. And then as we go on with this program, I may put more, I may throw more light to it. Now, let's go to what happened a few days ago, what the Kusasis did to 4 women. I'm going to play a short video to you so that you will hear from report on the ground what happens.
Good evening to our cherished viewers, those of you who are following live on Guma FM and live on 24/7. As we speak, we are at the BAWKU Presbyterian Hospital. I think yesterday, around 7 p.m., some very unfortunate incident happened, and we were all not very happy. It's about 24 hours now, and Guma FM too. But first of all, we need to give you the background or the reasons why we are here this evening. Yesterday in the evening, around 7 p.m., some women from the BAWKU township, about 4 women, who had gone to Bolga to go and attend an outdooring. They had gone, the outdooring was very successful, and on their return to BAWKU, usually we all know the security challenges that we all face in BAWKU. Because it's quite very difficult to travel from Bolga to BAWKU and Bolga to this place. So yesterday, the women who had gone to Bolga to go and attend an outdooring went and had a successful outdooring. And on their return to BAWKU, they picked a car that alighted them at the highways and brought them to a place they call Ambitious Filling Station. And when they got to the filling station, it is a distance to the BAWKU township. And therefore, these 4 women decided that they will walk to the town. So on their way from the filling station, they got to, just not far from the filling station. They saw some young men sitting, but they didn't see them because they were sitting in the dark, and they decided to pass. It was there that one of the young men shouted that, "You people are passing here and you don't want to greet people." Then the woman said, "Oh, then let's go back and greet them." So they decided to go and greet these young men. So when they got there, they told the young men, "Look, we didn't see you. They just alighted us here, and we were just struggling to get to the township. But now that we know that you are here, you have called us, we have come to greet you." Then one of the young men said that, "We don't want your greetings. After all, you have been passing here and you don't greet us." And the women responded that we don't pass here. We've only gone to Bolga for an outdooring. And that is how we are here. And therefore, we are begging you, we are just walking to the township. And then they told the women that, "You move, but you have decided not to greet us. When you move, you will meet you meet small boys that you'll be forced to greet them. If you don't greet them, you will see what they will do." Lo and behold, they left. And when they moved about 100 meters away, after the police station, they met these young boys who just started shooting at them. Unfortunately, there were 4 of them. One of the women died instantly there. The 3 other women sustained gunshot injury. And according to, the interactions we have had with these women, they have indicated that when the incident happened, there was a military car parked not far from, because the BAWKU is in such a way that sometimes these military people are stationed to make sure that everybody is safe. So they said that there was a military car not far from where they shot them. But they were surprised that when the young men were shooting at them, a military vehicle was closer by, but they didn't hear anything. I am yet, as we speak right now, that is what they have said. I'm also making efforts to see if we can get to the military men or the military heads to find out if it is actually true that their men were stationed there, and upon hearing the gunshots, They didn't go there to find out what was happening. But the women had actually said that they had managed, even with the gunshot wounds, to move to where the military vehicle is. And when they got there, all the soldiers were inside the vehicle. And they decided to knock until one of them opened up and asked why. And said that I am wounded. So immediately the soldier man saw that they were wounded. They decided to pick them to the BAWKU Presbyterian Hospital to seek medical attention. But one of them told the soldiers that there were 4 of them and that they have shot one of them and is lying there. And if they could rush there, they may go and get the person still alive. But the military men said that they were rather concentrating on those of them who were here, the 3 of them who were here, that they needed to rush them to the hospital so that later they will go and find out what is happening to the other woman who was part of them. So they brought them to the hospital and then they returned to the scene only to go and meet the other woman dead. And finally brought the dead body to the hospital. So basically this is what happened. That women from the BAWKU township had gone to Bolga to go and attend an outdooring. They had gone, the outdooring was very successful. On their return, some people think that they will not allow them to go freely to the township and decided to open fire on them, killing one and getting 3 of them wounded. As we speak right now, you can see that this is a ward. We are in the hospital and the surviving victims are here. I think one of the women have been discharged. I think she had sustained minor injury. But 2 other women who had sustained gunshots or injuries on their legs are here. Sometimes it is good to hear from the horse's own mouth. They were involved, and I'm sure that they would not mislead anybody. We will talk to them very soon because what they have told us was that they had gone to Bolga. They were coming from Bolga to the BAWKU township when these gunmen, you know, decided to open fire on them.
Yes, so that is it. The Kusasi's bandits decided to open fire on 4 innocent women. And what was their crime? Their crime is or was that they traveled to Bolga to attend an outdooring of a loved one. And upon returning home, the vehicle stopped at where the Kusasis are. And these women were now making their way into their final destination, that is the township. That was just their crime. And Kusasi's bandits shot at them. One died instantly. So the question is, what has Asante Hini's mediation achieved? What has the NDC government achieved in BAWKU since Asante Hini's mediation? Has anything improved after the mediation? Has the Kusasis stopped attacking innocent people on the BAWKU Bolga Pulmakom Road since Asante Hini and the NDC government handed over the chieftaincy to the Kusasis? Has escorts in or around the BAWKU Bolga Road consistent? I just picked information that it is rather once every week, and once every 2 weeks, and not once every week, that the people of BAWKU Township get escort from BAWKU to Bolga and Bolga to BAWKU. Under the presidency of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, who believes his government has seen the final resolutions of the BAWKU chieftaincy dispute via Asantehene. Asantehene also is at Manshia, feeling proud and happy that he has solved a chieftaincy problem between Kusasis and Mampusis. But is Asantehene aware that this is what the Kusasis are doing or continue doing? Asantehene doesn't care. His is just the name. He wants it to be on record or to be written that he's resolved BAWKU chieftaincy conflict, and he's happy with that. My dear brothers and sisters, let's continue to our next topic. And this is very, very important. I'm going to give you Can you hear me? Is the sound back? All right. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I don't know what is going on tonight, so let's me hurry up and let's get this done quickly. It's very unfortunate the way I wanted to take my time to have a beautiful program. Is very unfortunate. All right, so our next on the lineup is the disappearance of our brother as Idrisu Abdul Aziz, aka Balusi. Now, what happens? Let me see if I can get his photo. Yes, so this is the gentleman that I'll be talking about. He is Abdul Aziz Idrisu, aka Balusi. Now, what happens? What is the full story? This young man was arrested in Bolga. He had traveled from BAWKU to the family in Bolga. And while he was in Bolga, the police decided to go after him and arrested him and two of his siblings, one BAWKU and Hamza. They arrested these three individuals and put them in police custody in Bolga. The next day, his two siblings, BAWKU and Hamza, were released from police custody. I believe they were on police bail. A few days after that, Aziz was transferred to Accra, I am told, based on request from the police headquarters. The police did issue an official communique giving reason why they arrested Aziz. And they claim that Aziz is responsible or one of the suspects who they believe shot and killed somebody in Zebila. I'll give you the details of the police communique. So that was the reason the police gave. Let's assume that whatever the police said is true. Let's assume that. Now, when they took Aziz to Accra, as I indicated, the police, before taking him to Accra, the police issued statement admitting that Aziz is in their custody for more than 48 hours, as required by law. Aziz was not granted bail or arraigned before court in Accra or Bolga or anywhere for that matter in the country. The family of Aziz decided to do the right thing, to contact a law firm, that is to engage the services of a lawyer for their loved one, our brother Aziz. And they were able to secure the services of Martin Kwebu, I am told. Now, Martin Kwebu also acted responsibly as counsel or legal representative for Aziz, his client. And what did he do? Martin Kwebu delegated some of his junior lawyers together with Aziz, one of Aziz's brothers, to go to the police headquarters to find out the whereabouts of Aziz, to go to the BNI office to find out the whereabouts of Aziz, and to go to the National Security Office to find out the whereabouts of Aziz. Why? The lawyer saw the need to do this because since his services were engaged, he never saw his client. He was told his client has been transferred to Accra, yet he couldn't have access to his client. So he decided to do what I would term as search on the whereabouts of his client under the custody of the state. Now, these lawyers and Aziz brothers went to the police headquarters. They couldn't find Aziz there. They went to the BNI office. They couldn't find Aziz there. They went to National Security. They couldn't find Aziz there. Aziz's lawyer then decided to take another responsible step by writing to the CID for information about his client. That is, formally writing to the CID for information about his client. Up till date, the police CID hasn't yet responded to Aziz's lawyer's request or letter. Now, this is even where it is getting more intriguing, more troubling, and more, very disturbing. What is it? The lawyer sent a reminder to the police again about his previous letter requesting to know the whereabouts of his client. The lawyer was lucky, let me put it that way, that his second letter got the police to invite him to the police headquarters to meet the authorities there. And of course, the lawyer went there on behalf of his client. That is at the police headquarters. I am reliably told that the lawyer was able to meet the Inspector General of Police. And when he met the Inspector General of Police, the Inspector General of Police opened his mouth and told Martin Kwebu that his client, Abdul Aziz Idrisu, aka Balusi, was taking the police on an operation to go and arrest other accomplices that the police believed committed crime together with Aziz. Now listen to this very carefully. That was what IGP told Martin Kwebu. The IGP went on to say that when they went with Aziz, his men went with Aziz to where Aziz took them to, as where his colleague accomplices resides. Now listen and listen to this very carefully. According to the IGP, has told Aziz's lawyer that Aziz attempted to run away. And for that reason, Aziz was shot and he died. My brothers and sisters, I'm saying that let's assume that everything that the police is saying, that Aziz is a criminal, Aziz has done this, Aziz is facing what and what, he has jumped bail, he killed somebody and all that. Let's assume that everything is true. Let's not say it's an allegation. Let's assume that everything is 100% correct. And let's also assume that it is true that Aziz took the police somewhere to trace his accomplices. And whilst they were there, Aziz attempted to escape. Let's assume that that is also true. We will interrogate these facts. So Aziz attempted to run away from the police. In other words, he attempted to run away from lawful custody, and the police saw the need to shoot at him instantly. My dear brothers and sisters, according to my information, Aziz's lawyer, Martin Kebu, wrote a letter again to the police demanding an explanation, a written explanation confirming what he was told by the IGP about the incident that led to the police killing Aziz. And let me use this word again. The lawyer acted responsibly and professionally. My dear brothers and sisters, the police assured Aziz's lawyer, Martin Kebu, that they would formally write to him. They yet to do that. I am again reliably informed that the lawyer has sent another reminder about his request for written confirmations about the death of Aziz and circumstances that led to Aziz's death. My brothers and sisters, this is an up-to-date information about circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Aziz. Now, let's go to the interrogation. But before that, let me give you my blunt conclusion. Now, Aziz was arrested in Bolga and he was taken to Accra. From Bolga, he was moved to Accra. The family couldn't have access to him. They were asking, where is Aziz? They weren't told where Aziz was. They went to the police headquarters in search of Aziz. They went to the BNI headquarters in search of Aziz. They went to National Security in search of Aziz, but to no avail. So at that moment, we could say that the issue was about the whereabout of Aziz. But we have moved away from that based on the initiative, the steps that Aziz's lawyer has taken, and based on what the IGP, the Inspector General of Ghana Police, told Aziz counsel. The issue now is no more where is Aziz, but rather
The issue is now into a possible custodial debt cover-up. Custodial debt cover-up. Unlawful use of force and constitutional accountability matter. This issue could become a constitutional and public accountability matter if Martin Kwebu indeed proved to us that he is the Martin Kwebu that we know, who is very interested in constitutional matters. So that is the background, that is the facts about what happened. Now let's interrogate the facts. Let's interrogate what IGP told Aziz's client, which is the police believe that Aziz committed crime with his accomplices. In an operation, they took Aziz to go to where the accomplices are. Aziz believed they are. When they got there, whatever happens, Aziz decided or attempted to abscond, to run away from lawful custody. And the police, in their wisdom, also shot at Aziz. There's something fundamentally wrong in this narrative. The first question any first-year law student in court will want to know from the police is, what crime did Aziz commit? One, possible murder. Why am I saying possible murder? Because the allegation is that he shot and killed somebody in Zebila. So let's assume that that is correct. Now, let's connect the dots. Now, the police is saying that they took Aziz somewhere to trace his accomplices. Now, I don't know whether it is in connection with the same crime, why they arrested him, or a different crime. But I'm saying that, assuming that all these are true, this is what is fundamentally wrong. So, first of all, a first-year law student will ask, what crime did he commit? And let's assume that they will say he committed multiple murders. Let's assume that. Okay, so when you were taking him to his accomplices, was he in handcuffs or he wasn't in handcuffs? Well, let's assume that the police will say he wasn't in handcuffs. There's still a question there. Why wasn't he on handcuffs when you know that this is an accused person or a suspect who has committed multiple murders, a serious crime, and you are taking him to his accomplices and you didn't put him on handcuffs? Didn't you know that for not putting him on handcuffs, he is likely to attempt to escape? That is the question you ask, assuming they say they didn't put him on handcuffs, right? And that is an act of irresponsibility on the police. Now, assuming also that the police say that, yes, when we were taking him to show us where his accomplices were or are, he was on handcuffs. Now, the next logical question will be, how can somebody on handcuffs run away from the police that you think the only way you could do was to shoot and kill? If you handcuff somebody, whether the arms are in front or at the back, how far can that person run from somebody who has free hands? And possibly it wasn't only one or two police personnel who were with Aziz. So assuming that Aziz was handcuffed, how could he have run away? Making an attempt is true. With an handcuff, you could still make an attempt to run away. But can you succeed in running away in an handcuffs? We all know what running is. And if the police is denying, we can put a police officer in handcuffs and ask him to run 100 meters and see how he can run and escape. That you think the best thing is to shoot and kill. So there are so many legal issues surrounding this mysterious disappearance of Aziz. But potentially, it raises multiple serious legal questions. One, detention beyond constitutional limits. That is, we know the police. Two, failure to promptly arrange before court, lack of transparency in state custody, death while in police custody or during police operation, possible breach of due process after death, possible civil liability and constitutional remedies. These are all issues that his lawyer raised. Now, the core legal problem from my research and inquiries is that if the police officially stated that he was in their custody assisting investigation, then the state assumed duty and care over him. Any person that police arrests, whether you are in the BNI custody, you are wherever you are, national security, the state becomes responsible for your safety. And of course, care. Once a person is in state custody, authorities must account for that person. Even if that person killed the president of the republic, even if that person killed the IGP and attempted to run away, the police authorities must account for him or her. Where is Aziz? What is his legal status? What is his health and safety status? Any transfer and or use of force applied? And if he is deceased, indeed, if he is deceased, did the police issued official notification and documentations about the incident and communicated to Aziz's family and relatives? Just as they did what? Let me show you this. Just as they did when they arrested Aziz. This is the communique. This is the letter they issued informing the public about the arrest of Aziz and why Aziz was arrested. So if you saw the need to announce to the whole world that we have been able to arrest Mr. A in connection of this crime, and he is in our custody. And in the process of investigation, he attempted to run away and you never saw him, or he attempted to run away and you killed him. Why couldn't you issue a statement, a notification to the public, telling them that the person that you arrested in connection of this crime attempted to run away from police custody and you shot at him and he died? Or he attempted to run away from police custody and succeeded in escaping. So you want the public to know that he is still on a wanted list. Why couldn't you do that? What is the police hiding? What is the IGP hiding? My dear brothers and sisters, the most troubling fact, as I said, is being told orally, verbally by the IGP that he was shot and he died. I am hoping that Aziz's lawyers or lawyer Martin Kibu would be very strategic on this matter, will take all the necessary legal measures, legal steps to seek justice, deserving justice, and all other associated legal remedy for Aziz and his loved ones, his family, my dear brothers and sisters. So I'll bring it closer to that chapter, and as and when necessary, I will keep on updating you on this particular incident. I'm developing personal interest on this, my dear brothers and sisters. All right, so let's move to our last but not the least topic, which is SAMPA. SAMPA is a traditional area, and SAMPA is located in the Bono region, and there is a friction, a chieftaincy dispute in SAMPA between Asantehene Inskin SAMPA chief and another chief in Skins. I don't know whether in Skin by the Domahini or who, I don't know. But what I do know is that Asantehene in Skins, a chief of SAMPA, and that chief is still in Kumasi, cannot find his way to SAMPA. There is also another chief in Skins. I don't know who inskinned him, but he is currently in SAMPA. And Asantehene and Asanteman held a meeting, Asanteman meeting, a few days ago on this particular issue. I'll play you a short video on it, and then we'll proceed from there. But you will ask, why is BAWKU Toma talking about SAMPA? Is SAMPA part of Mampugo? SAMPA is not part of Mampugo. And I really don't care what is happening in SAMPA. I really don't care what is happening to Asantema and Asantehene. I really don't care. But I have been invited to talk on this matter by who? Representative of Asanteman. And where is my evidence? Let's take this evidence. Let's take this evidence. This is the evidence. There is a Facebook page that engages in the activities of Asanteman, just like Voice of Mamprugu engages in the activities of Mamprugu. And they said, well, this is how it should be. A legally gazetted paramount chief should be able to perform the burial rites of his sub-chief. This is the language that the people in power seems to know. If it was done in BAWKU, nothing stops the government from enforcing an arbitration decision made by him who equally made the BAWKU recommendation. Made by him here refers to Asante Hene. That is His Majesty Asante Hene. I believe that is what it means. Now that we know all the people behind it, we shall be addressing them one after the other. Honorable Mutaka, we hope you are doing well. This is what the Hausa man will say, Dan Kutua. Anyway, let me see if I can get some song to play before I continue with this program. But anyway, we don't have time. So this is what invited me to poke my nose into the affairs of SAMPA, because the Asanteman is still not seeing the wisdom to wash its hands away from the happenings in BAWKU, to stop poking their nose into matters about BAWKU, to stop associating the BAWKU chieftaincy dispute to Asanteman and SAMPA issue. Asante Hene has made his mediation and he's somewhere sleeping. Please, Asanteman, please, Asante Hene, stay your lane if you don't want us to talk about what is happening at your backyard, respectfully. If you talk and make references to BAWKU, even if you mention Asante Hene's mediation of the BAWKU and then what your expectations are, you will be inviting us to also talk about you. We don't want to do that. Voice of Mamprugu doesn't want to do that. So we advise you to stay your lane. You have helped destroy BAWKU further. Leave it the way you have destroyed it for us. We and the Kusasis and the government will sort things out ourselves peacefully. You have done your worst, which you think is the best. We beg you. All right. So, as I indicated, that is what invited me into the SAMPA issue. Now, let's listen to what Otumfuo said about SAMPA. My dear brothers and sisters, before we listen to what Otumfuo said about SAMPA, I decided to refresh our minds, the minds of Ghanaians. I refer to refresh the mind of Otumfuo and Asanteman, to refresh the mind of the president and the NDC government about what Otumfuo said several months ago, a year or two ago, even before he concluded the mediation, and long before the current happenings in SAMPA. Asante Hene opened his mouth. He's opened his mouth to tell the whole world that if you are a chief and you are there rubbing shoulders, bragging, saying that I have been gazetted. My name is in the regional House of Chiefs. My name is registered in the National House of Chiefs. So I am a chief. Asante Hini said, my brother, please take it slow. Gazetting doesn't make one a chief as far as the Asante Hini is concerned. To him, what makes you a chief as far as Santiman is concerned is that he, Asante Hini, inskins you. The moment he inskins you, whether you are gazetted or you are not gazetted, you are a chief. In other words, if Asante Hini were to inskin me as SAMPA Hini today, and somebody also inskinned another chief as SAMPA Hini, and that chief is able to get his name registered by the regional House of Chief and the National House of Chief, Asante Hini is telling you that, listen, Master, don't worry us about that one. My chief is the chief, the one I have in skin. That is my authority, and that authority is what defines who a chief is. So, almost say, Asante Hini say, Gazette in a year, how do I put it? Anyway, don't laugh at my chief. All right, so let's listen to Asante Hini on this, my brothers. So you see, Gazette in Enyehini. You can go to hell with your Gazette, knowing very well that the Chieftaincy Act make rooms for gazetting, right? But Asante Hini is saying that whether there's a Chieftaincy Act that says that once a chief should be gazetted or not, as far as he, Asante Hini, the King Solomon of the world, is concerned, if he doesn't inskin you as chief, as far as Santiman is concerned, and his jurisdiction is concerned, Master, you can even go to the UN and get gazette and get that recognition. You are still not a chief. The question is Asante Hini right? Yes, let's be fair to Asante Hini. He is perfectly right. Gazette, as we've been saying, is just a recognition that the state recognizes you as the chief in this particular village, in that particular town, and all that. And the significance of it is that if the state is having any statutory function that a chief must be involved, it is you, the one that the chief, the state recognizes, is you that will be involved. If the president or any government official comes to that village and want to go to the chief of that village, even if there are 5 chiefs claiming that they are chiefs of that same particular village, the one that is gazetted, that is the one the president or the government official will deal with, and none of the others. That is all that is there about gazetting. Nothing. That is all. In other words, let's talk about BAWKU. If Nashirga goes back to BAWKU today, claiming that he is BAWKU Naba, and Inchema is also there, claiming that he's BAWKU Naba. Now Shirga is not gazetted. Aninchema is gazetted. President Nana, when I say President Nana Akufo-Addo, I don't even know how he's doing. President John Mahama comes to BAWKU, and he's coming to do a shortcutting or a commissioning of a project. And wants the chief of BAWKU to come there. President John Dramani doesn't care whether Nashiga is there claiming that he's a chief or not. President John Dramani Mahama will invite Aninche Mabuguraba Zoka. That is all that it is about gazetting. If there's any statutory, that's the word, statutory function, a gazetted chief is qualified to perform statutory function. A non-gazetted chief cannot perform statutory function. You'll be violating the law if a non-gazetted chief attempts or is seen to be performing statutory function. That is all that it is about, right? So Asante Hene is perfectly right. Now, few months or few days later, what did Asante Hene say when he met Asante Man? Let's continue. All right, my brothers, give me a minute. My system is misbehaving again. All right, before we go back to the video, let's talk about this. So I'll play the video again, but in the video you hear Asante Hene saying something like this, and Mia Asante Hene, this is what the Mia Asante Hene page quoted. He said, "Part of Bono and Bono East region that belongs to Asante Man remains part of Asante Man, and that their allegiance to the gold stool is not negotiable." Why are now they are quoting Asante Hene? Why are our men sitting aloof for two people in Bono to misbehave? You are all waiting for Otumfuo to act. We are all silent. You want to protect your names. Now we have all turned into women. Asante Hene to Asante Man paramount chiefs. So what we are being told is that was what Asante Hene told the paramount chiefs when he met them. And that is the video I was trying to play. So let's move on if I'm not able to get it back. But that is the gist of it. That is actually what I was going to emphasize on. Right? Now, one day shall never end. This is Asante Hene, the owner of the golden stool, the one who has told the world that his decision in chieftaincy matters is final, and that there is no chief in Ghana that he will enskin, and any court in Ghana will deskin that chief. That is the kind of person we are talking about, Asante Hene, the King Solomon of the world, the chief who has the audacity to tell us, the Nigeri that he should either discount Nashirga or relocate Nashirga from BAWKU to Nalerigu and give Nashirga a place in his palace. That is the person we are talking about, my dear brothers and sisters. You see, before I make analysis of this particular paragraph, let me show it again. Yes, before I make analysis of this particular paragraph, the second paragraph, let me read it again. It said, why are our men sitting aloof for two people in Bono to misbehave? You are all waiting for Otunfuo to act. We are all silent. You want to protect your names. Now we have all turned into women. Asante Hene has suddenly turned into a woman. A woman. The respected King Solomon, whose law or whose decision cannot be changed by any other person in this world as far as he is concerned. The person who will sit in Kumasi and give orders to Nayiri in Nalerigu, telling the Nayiri that this is my decision. I want you to deskin Nashirga, the one that you inskin as Bokunaba. I am telling you to either deskin him the way you inskin him, deskin him that way. Or if you don't want to deskin him, I don't want him to be in BAWKU, so I want you to relocate him from BAWKU to Nalerigu and find a place in your palace for him. That is the person we are talking about, Asante Hene. The King Solomon of Asanteman. And that is his wisdom, the wisdom he has put into the mediation and communicated to the Nigerian. Communicated to the government and requested the government to implement. And of course, the government is implementing because it is Asante Hene. So you must calm down. You must bow down to him. He is the king. He is the authority in Ghana. Without Asante Hene, nobody is anybody in Ghana. He is the person who is today telling Asanteman that why are our men sitting aloof for two people in Bono to misbehave? Who are those two people, Asante Hene? Give names. Who are those two people? Give names. Who are those two people? Asante went on to say, you are all waiting for Otunfuo to act. Don't act. Sit down. He continues, we are all silent. No, don't be silent, Asante Hene. Please speak. Your words carries power. Speak. Nana kasa, bre, 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 bre. Nana kasa, kasa, bre, 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 bre. Asante Hene continues, you want to protect your names. Well, who are those? The MPs, the ministers, the paramount chiefs. Now we have all turned into women. We have all turned into women. Nana kasa, bre, 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 kasa. Nana kasa, bre, 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 bre. But you see, Asante Hene doesn't even understand the Asante history very well. I'm saying this with full of respect. And when I prove to you, you will understand why I'm saying. You see, Asantini said, Asanteman, including he, Asantini, and the paramount chiefs, everybody has turned into women. Why are you not speaking? Men, where are the men? Why are you not speaking? You are waiting for me to act. We have all remained silent. We have all turned into women. Now, let me break that part. Let me decode that, why I'm saying he doesn't understand the history of Asantemand or the power of Asantemand very well. This is it. Every Asante knows that the strength and foundation of Asanteman is traced to Ya Asantewa. After Comfort Anoche is Ya Asantewa. When all the Asantes were running away from wars, when all the men were running away, were silent, centuries ago, it took a woman, Ya Asantewa, to lead the men into war against the British and won. It wasn't a man, it was a woman. So today, if you say, why are the men, why have we all turned into women? Because we are silent, because you are waiting for Otumfuo to act, because you are protecting your name. You are looking down upon the strength and power of the Asante woman. You are looking down upon the contribution of Ya Asantewa, who is one of the defining pillars of the strength of Asanteman. But anyway, let's put that aside. Now the question is, what makes Asante need to talk the way he's talking? This is my interpretation. The Asante is frustrated. He's frustrated that the Domahini and the people of SAMPA who are in SAMPA with their chief will not allow his Asantehene SAMPA chief to go and perform the funeral of his sub-chief. So he's frustrated. It's just like sometimes the way I get frustrated and I say that our leaders are not doing this, our leaders are not doing that. Asantehene is frustrated. Those of you who don't understand my frustration, now you will understand. You see how frustration one can be, right? Asantehene is frustrated. He's frustrated because he's helpless. It's like, where are my men? Where are my people? Where are my MPs? Where are my people? You are not fighting for me. Look at how the Mamprusis are fighting for the Nayiri. And you have all turned into women, hiding yourself. You want to protect your names. Come out and behave like Bakutoma. Bakutoma is not protecting his name. Bakutoma has been blacklisted by all politicians and all people that he is this, he is that. Bakutoma is standing up for Nayiri. So where are my men? Please stand up for me. I'm getting frustrated. Frustration make Asantehene look down upon Ya Asantewa. Frustration make Asantehene tell that men have turned into women because they are silent, because they are not coming to his aid. Frustration is making Asantehene say that, listen, yesterday I said that if you are a gazetted chief, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. He forgot that he said that yesterday because of frustration. Today he's saying that, oh, this chief has been gazetted, and there's court rulings on his behalf, and what, and the government is not doing it. What do you want the government to do? You have your court ruling. Go and implement your court ruling. Government doesn't implement court rulings. When we said the Kusazi should implement their Supreme Court ruling, you said, Nala, you Asante Hine will implement the ruling for them. So you have your high court ruling or whatever saying that the one you in Skane is the chief of SAMPA. And you want him to go to SAMPA and perform the funeral rites of his sub-chief. Implement your court rulings. Why are you disturbing John Mahama? Why are you disturbing Muntaka? Why are you disturbing the Bono regional minister? Why are you disturbing the DCE? Since when has Asanteman realized that politicians are fighting Asanteman? But politicians are not fighting Najiri and Mampurugu. Since when? Since when? Let's face the facts, Asanteman. I love you all. But let's be honest with ourselves. Right? So Asante is frustrated. His frustration has made him to wonder why, instead of him telling his men that, listen, I want you to behave like Ya Asantua, all men, I want you to turn into women today and behave like Ya Asantua for the golden stool. Instead of him to say that he's rather chastising them, that why have they turned into women? You know, be easy. Mampurugu, Tidima Suguru, Tidugma ni Suguru Vela, Suguru the Mar Amfani, Mini Nayiri, Tidugma Yashenima, Tidugma Umibunka ni Chana. Into opportune lepsi. Into opportune lepsi. You see, I want to limit myself. So I don't want to say many things. But there's something in the video that I also wanted to say. I wanted to comment on. In that video, Asante Hine did mention, in that video, Asante Hine did, you see, among those he's making allegations, hey, my God, Junior say Hankuri. Junior say Hankuri. Among the people that Asante Hine is making allegation personally from Asante Hine's own mouth. It's not like we, the border boys, who will say, oh, Muntaka this, Ayarga this, John Mahama this. It's not the border boys who, it is Asante Hine, the King Solomon himself, the ruler of rulers. He is making allegations against Muntaka, making allegations against the NDC government, making allegation against a Bono regional minister, making an allegation against MPs. He even made allegation against a judge. That is how frustrated Asante Hine is today. And you see, as I said, there are many things that I know. That I don't want to say. But when I heard Asante Hine complain about a judge, that the judge is colluding with who and who to do what, I said to myself, Bakutuma, are you listening to Asante Hine? My dear brothers and sisters, they say we should let sleeping dogs lie. They say we should let sleeping dogs lie. But I am happy that Asante Hini is the one complaining about a judge. I, Bakotoma, I know why I am saying that I am happy that Asante Hini is complaining about a judge, the conduct of a judge in a chieftaincy matter. God is our witness. We leave everything to God. You see, now my last word to Ghanaians before I bring tonight's program to an end. Since 2001 to present, let's say 5 years or 5+ years, almost 6 years, that the BAWKU chieftaincy dispute sparked, and the mediation that Asante Hini conducted for 3 good years. Now, this is where every Ghanaian, starting from the President of the Republic to the last person, this is where you have to see the difference between the Nigeri and Asante Hini. If you are a Mampusi, this is where you have to be proud of the Nigeri and give your all out for the Nigeri. I will tell you why. I will tell you the difference in or between Nigeri and Asante Hini. Nigeri who permit me to say that the president respects Asante Hini more than the Nigeri. That Asante man respect Asante Hini more than the Nigeri. That Ghanaians respect Asante Hini more than the Nigeri. Because of the hype, because of the state support, because of the marketing. But you see, there is a day that wisdom would visit everybody that looks down upon people that are really of substance, but because of their humility and good nature and wisdom, they bring themselves down to the ordinary person. That if you are not a wise person, you will not see the wisdom to give him or her the respect. I will land, but let me build my point before I land. You see, the world is full of that. Those of us who go into the gutter to clean it, and by going into the gutter, we don't wear nice clothes, we don't put tie, we make our head dreads and all that, you look down upon us. But somebody who will come and put tie and put suit and then be talking big English and all that, you respect that person more than Bakotoma. That is how society is. And that is the Nayiri and then the Asantehene. You see? Now let me land. Long story short, let me land. For 5 good years, from 2021 to date, BAWKU, Kosasi, Mamprosis, Nana Akufo-Addo said this, MPP said this, the issue warrant for arrest of Nashiriga and the Nayiri by the MPP government. John Mahama comes, he said this, and Asantehene said he's mediating, and this and that, giving orders left, right, center, and saying all sort of things. Have you ever heard the Nayiri open his mouth to say anything about everything that everybody is saying about him and Mamprogo? If you have ever heard the Nayiri say that, send me the video and I will take poison today. For 5-6 years, the Nayiri has remained quiet, silent, in pain, in joy, in everything. He has accommodated, tolerated, entertained all manner of persons, including Asantehene. The Asantehene will invite the mediation team and demand that as the Nayiri must appear. The president will invite the Nayiri, and Nana Akufo-Addo will invite the Nayiri and say, I'm inviting Abogrago and the Nayiri to come and let's talk about. The Nayiri he will come. He will make himself, he will lie low for you. So you come. Nayiri doesn't argue. He doesn't say anything than what his ancestors expect of him, to provide leadership with wisdom, patience, tolerance, responsibility, and accountability. Right? Okay, so that is the Nayiri. Now, the one that we all believe to be the wisest king in the world, the King Solomon. SAMPA, since when did SAMPA chieftaincy dispute start? Less than a year. Less than a year. And Asantehene is crying. He is calling his people to rise up and not allow 2 people in Bono, quote unquote, to misbehave against Asanteman. And you see, this is even what is very interesting. He, Asantehene, knows that in his situation, it is not the people of Bono, it is not the government and all that, but it is two people in Bono who are misbehaving. Who are the 2 people? I don't care. I don't want to know. But it is 2 people, right? In less than 1 year. And Asantehene is frustrated. Asantehene is complaining. Asantehene is crying. Asantehene is accusing men why they have turned into women suddenly. Asantehene is saying that you are protecting your name. You're on your political post. You don't want to talk about SAMPA because you're protecting your name. You don't want them to say that you are this, right? You want me, Asantehene, to come out and talk before you would talk. You want me, Asantehene, to say, hey, do this before you do this. But look at the case Nayiri is handling. I don't even want to go to 40. I'm saying let's start from 2021. 5-6 years. You have the Kosasis against him. You have the MPP government against him. You have the NDC government against him. You have, Bombande and Co. Nankosasis against him. You have Asante Hene himself against Nayiri. And you have Asante Man itself, because of Asante Hene, against Nayiri and Mamprugu. But yet, Nayiri, at his age, 100 plus, he's still calm. That is the difference between the Nayiri and Asante Hene. You may choose not to respect the Nayiri. You may choose not to value him as the standard of traditional wisdom in Ghana. It still doesn't make any difference. Nayiri is Nayiri, Mamprugu is Mamprugu, and we will put our lives on the line. We will not wait for the Nayiri to convene a meeting and tell us why are we turning into women and why are we hiding our, I don't want to use this, right? We will not wait. We will continue to stand for the Nayiri against whoever is against the Nayiri. I have made that pledge to myself. Right? All right, my dear brothers and sisters, I probably think I should end here. There's a lot to talk about. But again, I can't promise you when I'll come back again, but as and when necessary, you will see me on Voice of Mamprugu. All I can say is that let's stay together, Mamprusis. Let's understand that things and times have changed. Let's look within us and elevate ourselves and support ourselves and raise ourselves. Asante Hene is Asante Hene because of how his people are fighting for him. If we fold our arms and sit down, I keep on telling you this, we will be doing ourselves the greatest disservice. Let's not joke with the Nayiri. I know you know better than I do, but permit me to also put my small word into reminding us that let's not joke with the Nayiri. You see the words Asante Hene chose and spoke. Listen, if the Nayiri were to assemble Mamprugu and say the same thing, trust me, all those of you who are saying Kusasis this, Kusasi that, and all this, you and the Kusasis, you will know your smoothness level. If the Nayiri were to gather Mamprugu and say these words, let me quote, why are our men sitting aloof for two people in BAWKU to misbehave? You are all waiting for Nayiri to act. We are all silent. You want to protect your name. Why are men behaving like women, or why have men turned into women in Mamprugu today? If Nayiri were to send this message out, that is where you would have seen what Mamprugu is made of. But we thank God that the Nayiri is the Nayiri that we know him to be. My dear brothers and sisters, at another time, I will throw more light, or I will talk more on the road, the happenings on the BAWKU Bolga road, right? But let me hold on. Mamprugu, we need to sit up. Let's think outside the box. All right, my dear brothers and sisters, thank you so very much for your time. I truly, truly, truly appreciate your patience, your understanding, your love, your support. Not for me, I don't need it, but for Mamprugu, my dear brothers and sisters. We are all doing this not for ourselves. That's why I'm saying I don't need it. We are doing it for Mamprugu. And when we talk of Mamprugu, we mean the Nayiri. Right? All right. Thank you so very much, and God bless you all. Peace.